Question for you, Thurrott. Can't enunciate this morning. Have you spent any money on any Google-related purchases in the last 48 hours?
I don't know if I want to answer that question, Brad.
It's just a question.
I have possibly spent a lot of money on a couple of Google hardware purchases.
It's reassuring from my perspective that
Okay.
I can count on you to make really dumb
To be a
financial
guinea pig idiot.
purchases. I'm just kidding. So what sword
Well-
are you falling on for us today, Paul Thurrott?
Look, I'm going into this open-eyed. I mean, neither will probably work out. It's okay.
It's all right. That's how relationships are.
You know, right. Yeah, so I ordered a Google Pixel tablet.
Wow.
And more expensively, a Pixel Fold.
Whoa.
Yeah. I know.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
Is your wife aware of this?
I had to consult with her on that
Okay.
and explain the dynamics of it.
I was just thinking if I needed to arrange a rescue operation, but
yeah,
that was
no,
good.
I'm not an idiot. So, look, I mean, I don't know if it's important. I will write about them, right?
Yeah,
I can justify it in that way. I don't think either one of these. Well, I don't think the Fold will pay for itself or anything like that.
No,
I think there's a good chance it's not going to work out. But the thing is, so this is the tricky bit. My wife actually wants a folding phone at some point, and she
interesting.
might be interested in moving to this. Ideally, the way to make this purchase is you trade in a phone at the time of purchase because they are offering crazy good deals on trade-ins.
Really?
For example, I have a nearly 2-year-old iPhone 13 Pro, 128 gigs of storage, blah, 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 whatever. They're going to give me $850 for that thing.
Wow.
It costs $999 new.
I was going to say, like, that's
an overreach, right? So, but the problem is, I don't know if I was betting on this. I don't know that it's going to work out for me. So I don't want to give up the phone and then what do I get? Like Google Store credit, like, so I talked to her about that, and I ended up just buying it outright with no trade-in. The idea being I'll probably just going to send it back. But if it does work out, well, I have a hard time believing it's going to work out for me. But if it did, I suppose it could replace a phone and a tablet, so I could get rid of those things and sell those. If she wanted to keep it, we could sell her phone, which is a S22 Ultra.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that's worth now, $400 or something. It's not. They're not going to get as much, I mean, I suppose the other alternative is we could look at what the trade-in value is at the time and just return it and then buy another one and do a trade-in, So we'll see. The other issue is the timing. Unfortunately, this device isn't coming out until the very end of June, possibly beginning of July for shipping purposes. And we're going to Mexico for 3 weeks on like July 6th or something. So it would be a horrific disaster to order this thing and have it arrive after we're gone. I don't even know how I would handle that. So yeah, this was a lengthy discussion. I rewatched parts of the keynote yesterday from Google I/O, and I was like, "Can I talk to you for a minute?" So it was a joint decision.
Okay. I respect it. When is the tablet? I can't remember.
Yeah, say it's not too much earlier.
June, right?
It's the third week of June or something, like June 20 maybe.
The
tablet's a little trickier. Yeah. We use a Lenovo Smart Display in the kitchen, and we have for several years now, and it's great. And you could make this argument, well, you could slap it on there and use it like that kind of a thing, but that kind of thing was like $200. This is like $500. So to use it as a tablet, it wouldn't be in the kitchen all the time doing its thing, which is what we like it for. And I would forget to put it back. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And then it would have to be better than an iPad Air, or any iPad, right? And I don't believe it's going to be. I'll try it. I mean, I'm not. I don't want to judge it from afar. I'll take a look. But I just don't think Google tablets are there yet, or Android tablets.
I really like. I was watching the little video again. I really like the stand though. Like that
Yeah,
stand
no, I
is.
like the idea is great. It's the thing is, but it's hard not to look at that and say, so what does the stand cost? Like $100, $130?
Yeah.
Okay, well, chop that off the price and just give me the tablet. You know,
Hmm.
$500 for a tablet's a little tough. That or $500 for a smart display that can roam around the house is a little tough.
Yeah. That's.
But it's a good idea. Like they very specifically didn't do the keyboard case thing. They're like, no, this is, we looked at the market and this is what we see. Like tablets just kind of sitting around doing nothing. You can make it useful while it's not doing anything, and they don't typically leave the house.
Hmm.
And even for me, I mean, my iPad doesn't really leave the house. It leaves when I go on a trip.
Yeah. That's
So,
back of an airplane, right? That's.
and I could buy a second stand, throw it in Mexico, and just slap it up there when we travel. I guess I mean, you can make these arguments. I'm not saying it makes sense. I'm literally not saying that, but
Yeah.
but
Well,
yeah,
we appreciate it. I'm just gonna stick to my folding phone here. It's not really.
I
mean,
think
it's a folding phone.
I
but
haven't
it's a-
looked it up, but I bet the size of the Pixel Fold is close to that size. It's not
Yeah.
as big as the Samsung thing. Not as tall and thin either. It's thinner from a form factor perspective, but the aspect ratio is not tall and thin.
Well,
We'll see.
we'll see.
Listen, I've had some. I have bought and returned 2 Google Pixel devices in the past month. That was not my plan. I want to be clear about that. But I thought the Pixel Buds Pro were going to do it for me, and the ANC was not good enough. And then actually, I would say the Pixel Watch. I was like, I just wanted to kind of see, and that one surprised me. That might have actually played a little role here because I, from afar, did not think much of the Pixel Watch, and that was actually more impressive to me. I think we talked about this the other day, but
yeah.
but maybe they're getting on a roll there finally with hardware. It took them long enough.
The other announcement from the I/O stuff, because we didn't record yesterday. If anybody's wondering if there was an episode yesterday, there was not. Is that they're putting their Bard, and this is like completely, we knew this was coming. They're going to put Bard search or whatever. Please rename this thing Google. Their AI stuff, generative AI stuff, above search results in Google. This is a massive nuke coming to every industry, because if your business depends on search results like Google driving traffic, you just got shoved, and you had a number 1, number 2, top 5 search result placement. You just got shoved way down the page.
Below the fold, as they say.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you could probably pay to be there. I think there are sponsored results in Google search anyway, is maybe the argument.
Well, I think Google's just like, look, our back's against the wall. We gotta evolve this business. Microsoft's doing it faster than us.
Yeah, I think the argument from their standpoint, and not that they would necessarily make this to their customers, is this is an existential threat to us.
Yes.
So, sorry,
Yep.
we need to keep, and I would expect their revenue from search is going to go down temporarily.
That's the
Right.
thing. That's the thing to be watching.
Yeah, I would think so.
Or they're going to charge more money because that's going to be like Bard on the left and then little like ads on the right or something.
That's something to look out for when Microsoft talks about this Microsoft 365 Copilot stuff.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I'm starting to hear is that that's not just going to be slipped into a Microsoft 365 tier. Like you're going to pay for that. And those things are very expensive. So I'm curious to see. I mean, and for consumers, it might not be viable as a product. We'll see.
They may not be. I mean, they're
just
gonna,
from the cost perspective,
the first AI is free, Paul. Then they get you to chase the GPU, right?
That's right.
So we'll see where that. But you're right. Like, there's no way that they're going to offer Copilot, their biggest new feature in a decade, for free. No way. This is Microsoft. This is a company that just made $18 billion and said all their employees are not getting raises.
I would take it. I would take it even a step further. People look at this and like, oh, great. Now my Microsoft 365, subscription is going to be like $10 more a year. No, it's not. We're talking more like $20 a month.
Yeah.
This is not. The price of your thing is not going up a little. If you want to use this, it's going to go up dramatically. And that's the problem. That's why Microsoft's trying to build chips. That's the thing no one is talking about enough, because we don't know the hard numbers. Like, it will be very interesting when Microsoft has to announce this, and it's going to be like this, like, oh my God, are you kidding me?
Right.
Moment. And that's when we're going to find out the true cost. And even then, it's probably going to be somewhat subsidized.
Yeah.
Because the costs are just so astronomical. The idea behind that being eventually we'll have our own chipsets, and that will lower our costs. People don't understand how expensive this stuff is.
So there's two things. One's a joke, one's serious. The serious thing is the first thing you can watch is actually their margins. So they report an overall margin every single quarter.
Yep, right.
This will eat into that, right? If they're going to try to subsidize this, you can watch the margin should compress a bit. The other one is that they're so worried about the power consumption that they just signed an agreement to use nuclear fusion to power their data centers.
It's like a Simpsons joke all of a sudden.
I know.
Like the lights dim when the AI comes on. Also, this is kind of tangential to this, but I mean, Apple is like, hey, I don't know what we're doing here with AI. This is, I think we're going a little fast here. Apple is all about the margins. Apple decides to go into businesses. The cute marketing version is where they can make a difference and, do something better than everything that's out in the market. Yeah, no, that too. That's true. But when we can make margins double digits, whatever, is the real business priority there. Let's not lose sight of the fact that they're a business. And I'm sure they look at AI and they're like, nope.
Yeah.
No, thanks.
Well, yeah. And someone's going to say, well, Apple has to. It's like, well, you know what? Apple made a deal with Google. They never got into search. That's a huge part of what you do on your iPhone. And they manage just fine.
And they can go back to Google and say, hey, listen, we know you're sending us like tens of billions of dollars a year or whatever it is, or, blah, 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 whatever. If you want to keep this contract, you're going to have to throw AI into it.
Yep.
And it's going to cost them, but they'll do the calculus on that and they'll do it.
I mean, hardware's not going anywhere. Like AI can't replace hardware. I mean, it can maybe replace a device potentially. I don't know, but it's not going to replace a phone. Like you can't hold AI.
These economics are kind of well understood.
Yeah.
Not that we understand AI, but rather the notion of, like, we're going to get into this thing now. Like, imagine like you're selling a video game console is a good example. Like, we're selling this thing at a loss. But the idea is over time, we can lower the price of the components. We can ship a new version that's cheaper to make, and we start making money on the hardware then. That's the goal with just the hardware. I know there's another model with software and all that, and services, whatever. But, that's the model with AI. They're looking at these prices, and they're like, and the goal is obviously to lower those prices. And most companies, there's only a few, but most already have their own hardware for this, Amazon, Google.
Yep.
And Microsoft will. That's going to be a way they lower the cost.
We'll find out.
It's interesting stuff. Unlike this podcast,